I bought the wrong dog harness once, and wow, that walk turned into a tug of war I did not sign up for. My dog was dragging me, the straps were rubbing, and I kept thinking, okay, this is supposed to help? So in this video, I'm breaking down the best no-pull dog harnesses, from the frustrating ones to the genuinely good ones, and I'll show you which ones actually make walks calmer, easier, and way less embarrassing. Number 6. Rabbitgoo Dog Harness No Pull. Let me start with the Rabbitgoo because this is the kind of harness that looks smart right away. The design is simple, the fit is adjustable, and when I tested it on a medium dog, it felt like a decent entry-level option for everyday walks. The front clip helps redirect pulling, and that matters a lot if your dog gets excited the second the leash comes out. What I liked first was how easy it was to put on. You can usually get it on without a wrestling match, which honestly is already a win. The padded areas feel comfortable enough for regular use, and the reflective material is a nice touch if you walk early in the morning or after dark. But here's the thing, it's not perfect. The harness can feel a little bulky on some dogs, and if the fit isn't dialed in exactly, it may shift more than you want during active walks. I also found that the front control works better for mild pullers than for dogs that are determined to launch themselves toward every squirrel in a 3-block radius. For casual use, though, it does the job. If your dog is a moderate puller and you just want something affordable and familiar, this is a workable place to start. I wouldn't call it the most refined option here, but it's solid enough to make the list. The biggest reason it lands at number 6 is that it feels like a good enough harness rather than a this changes walks harness.
5. PetSafe Easy Walk No Pull Harness. This one has a reputation, and for good reason. The PetSafe is one of those harnesses people mention when they talk about training a dog not to pull, and I can see why. The front chest design naturally discourages lunging, so it can help shift the dog's attention back to you during a walk. What stood out to me was the control. It feels more correction-focused than some of the softer, more padded harnesses, which is great if your dog ignores regular gear and treats every walk like a sprint event. It also tends to be easy to fit once you understand the strap setup, and that matters because a no-pull harness only works when it sits correctly. That said, I'm going to be a little picky here. The chest strap can feel less comfortable than newer, more cushioned designs, especially for dogs that walk for longer periods. It's effective, yes, but not always the most pleasant feeling option for all dogs, and some owners may find the look and fit a bit old school. I also think this harness is better for training than for all-day comfort. If your goal is teaching leash manners, it has real value. If your goal is a softer, more modern, everyday harness, there are better picks higher up the list. So bottom line, it works, but it doesn't wow me. It's one of those tools that earns respect more than affection. 4. ShawnCo DreamWalk Pro. Okay, now we're getting into the more enjoyable options. The ShawnCo feels like a harness made by people who actually thought about daily use, not just marketing photos. It has a cleaner build, a more comfortable feel, and a layout that makes it easier to manage dogs that pull without making the whole experience feel tense. I liked the balance here. It gives you control, but it doesn't feel overly strict. The fit is adjustable, and when I tested it, the harness sat pretty well on the chest and back without needing constant readjustment. That kind of stability matters because if a harness slides around, your dog notices, and then you're both annoyed for no reason. The comfort level is better than the 2 lower-ranked picks. The padding and strap placement make it feel more dog-friendly, especially for medium to large breeds. I also appreciate that it looks cleaner and more modern because, let's be honest, people do care whether the gear feels as good as it performs. The downside? It's still not the most precise harness in the group. If your dog is an especially hard puller, you may want something with even better control geometry. Also, while it's good for regular walks, I wouldn't say it has that standout, wow, this is the one feel just yet. Still, this is where the list starts getting genuinely strong. It's comfortable, practical, and easy to recommend for most dog owners.
3. Plutus Pet No-Pull Dog Harness. The Plutus is where things start feeling more polished. It has a breathable build, which is a bigger deal than people think, especially if your dog gets warm quickly or you live in a hotter climate. When I tested it, I noticed that it felt lighter on the dog without giving up too much structure. This one does a nice job of balancing control and comfort. The reflective details help with visibility, and the harness usually feels secure once adjusted properly. I also liked how the mercurials seem better suited to daily use, because some harnesses start feeling tired after a while, but this one holds its shape pretty well. What makes it stand out is the way it sits on the dog. It feels less awkward than budget options and more predictable during turns and quick direction changes. That matters when your dog suddenly spots another dog, a bird, a leaf, honestly, anything with even a little mystery to it. I do think sizing needs attention though. Like a lot of harnesses, if you rush the fit, you'll get less than ideal results. But once you get it right, it becomes one of those harnesses that just quietly does the work. It's not flashy, it's just good. And sometimes that's exactly what you want. 2. Ivy & Lane No-Pull Dog Harness. Now this is a strong contender. The Ivy & Lane feels thoughtfully made, and it has that sweet spot of comfort, control, and everyday practicality that a lot of harnesses chase but don't actually hit. The no-pull setup works well, and the reflective features make it especially useful for people walking in lower light. What I liked most was how stable it felt. On the dog, it stays in place pretty well, which means less fiddling during the walk and fewer weird shifts when your dog changes speed. The harness also feels more finished than some of the more basic options, with a shape that suggests it was designed with actual walking behavior in mind. The padding is better here too. It doesn't feel stiff or overbuilt, and that makes a difference on longer walks. I also think this is one of the easier harnesses to live with day to day because it's not trying too hard, it just works. If I had one criticism, it's that it can feel a little too straightforward for people looking for maximum training control. It's excellent for improving walks, but if you have a truly intense puller, you might still want to pair it with leash training and patience. No harness does the whole job alone, and that's just the truth. Still, this one is a near top pick because it's balanced. It feels like a harness you keep using, not one you replace after a month. Forestpaw No-Pull Dog Harness. The Forestpaw feels like the best overall blend of comfort, control, and everyday usability in this group. When I tested it, the first thing I noticed was how naturally it fit once adjusted properly. It didn't fight the dog's movement, but it still gave enough guidance to reduce pulling in a meaningful way. The design is really the strength here. It feels secure without being stiff, which is exactly what you want in a no-pull harness. The structure gives you leverage, the fit feels calmer on the dog, and the overall experience is just smoother. You know that feeling when a product disappears into the routine because it does its job well? That's this one. I also like the comfort level a lot. It seemed to sit cleanly on the body, and that matters because a harness can only help if the dog tolerates wearing it without drama. The adjustability also makes it easier to get a cleaner fit across different body shapes, which is a big plus if you have a dog that's somewhere between standard sizes. Another thing I noticed is that it feels more confidence building. With strong pullers, that matters. You're not just buying a strap system, you're buying a calmer walk, a little less stress, and maybe even a little more peace in your shoulder. And yes, I'm speaking from experience there. So my bottom line is simple. If you want the best overall no-pull harness from this list, Forestpaw is the one I'd start with.